There's a brutal truth most men never hear until it's too late. Women don't fall in love with the man who gives them everything. They fall in love with the man they're secretly afraid of losing. Stop for a second and let that sink in. You might think love is about comfort, about safety, about always being available when she calls. But what if I told you that very same comfort is what kills attraction? What if the thing you've been doing in the name of love is the exact reason she's slowly pulling away? Imagine her staring at her phone, knowing you'll answer instantly, knowing you'll rearrange your life for her, knowing you'll never walk away. It feels safe to her, but it also feels predictable, and predictable is the slow death of desire. Here's where most men go wrong. They believe women fear distance, when in reality, they fear indifference. Not coldness, not cruelty, but that quiet, unshakable aura of a man who does not crumble if she withdraws. Think about the men who leave the deepest imprint on a woman's memory. Are they the ones who begged, who clung, who showered her with endless attention? Or are they the ones who seemed like they could vanish at any moment? The ones she never fully figured out? The ones who, even while loving her, carried themselves with the power of choice? That's the psychology you've been blind to. And this is why so many men wake up one morning confused, wondering how a woman who once swore she loved them could now feel distant, cold, detached. She didn't stop loving. You stopped being a mystery. You stopped being a challenge. You stopped holding the quiet frame that tells her, I choose you, but I don't need you. Triggering a woman's fear of losing you is not manipulation, it's restoration. It's reminding her subconscious that your presence is not guaranteed. Women are wired, deeply wired, to be drawn to men who stand firm in their independence. If she feels like she has you in her pocket, like she could mistreat you and you'd still crawl back, she loses respect before she loses love. And when respect fades, desire follows like a shadow. So the question becomes, how do you live in such a way that she feels the pull, the uncertainty, the subtle fear of losing you, without games, without cruelty, without toxic tactics? The answer isn't in what you say, but in how you carry yourself. It's in your habits, your energy, and your ability to walk away if your boundaries are crossed. That fear isn't about scaring her. It's about reminding her that your value does not depend on her validation. That's the seed we're planting right now, and it's going to change the way you see every interaction from this moment on. Every woman, no matter how modern, no matter how confident, carries within her a primal psychology that has not changed for thousands of years. She may have her career, her independence, her choices, but deep inside, her instincts still respond to one thing: the fear of losing a man she deeply desires. This isn't about playing games. This isn't about being cruel. It's about understanding how the female mind protects itself. When she knows she has your full surrender, when she knows that no matter how she treats you, you will still be there, her brain unconsciously starts telling her there's no risk in mistreating you. And when there's no risk, there's no thrill. And when there's no thrill, attraction fades. Slowly at first, then suddenly. Men are taught to avoid conflict, to avoid tension, to keep things smooth at all costs. But attraction is born from tension. Not toxic fighting, not manipulation, but the tension of uncertainty. Think of the times she was most obsessed with you. It wasn't when you were showering her with constant reassurance. It was when you were half in, half out, when she couldn't quite read you, when she wasn't sure if you were as invested as she was. That tension is magnetic. That tension is what makes her check her phone 5 times in 10 minutes, wondering why you haven't replied. That tension is what makes her replay your words, trying to decode your tone, trying to figure out if you're pulling closer or further away. Now here's where the shift happens. A man who doesn't understand this tries to trigger fear by withdrawing suddenly, ignoring her, or trying to play cold games. But that's not strength. That's insecurity wearing a mask. The real way to trigger a woman's fear of losing you is by living so fully, so powerfully, that she feels you are grounded with or without her. It's in the way you pursue your goals relentlessly, the way you invest in your own growth, the way you don't break your routines just because she calls. It's in the way you set boundaries without raising your voice, the way you calmly say, "That doesn't work for me," and mean it. That composure is more attractive than any game you could play. And here's the secret most men will never know. Women respect consistency. If today you act strong, but tomorrow you collapse into neediness, she won't fear losing you, she'll pity you. Pity is poison to attraction. Fear of losing you only exists when she senses that you can walk away from anything that dishonors you. And paradoxically, that strength makes her want to hold on to you more tightly, because deep down she knows men like you don't come around often. You become rare. And in psychology, rarity always equals value. Picture this. She's testing you. Maybe she takes longer to reply. Maybe she pulls back slightly just to see how you'll react. Most men panic. They blow up her phone, they ask what's wrong, they beg for reassurance, and in that very moment, she sees the truth. She sees that he needs her more than she needs him. And once that balance tips, once she realizes she holds all the power, attraction begins to wither like a flower without sunlight. But imagine if instead of panicking, you stay centered. You keep moving forward, you keep focused on your life, you don't try to force her back, you let her feel the silence, the space, the possibility that you could slip through her fingers. That is where her fear begins to awaken. The female mind is wired for emotional contrast. Too much comfort, she drifts. Too much chaos, she shields herself. But the sweet spot is where she feels both safe and uncertain at the same time. Safe in your presence, uncertain about your absence. It's why some women chase men who don't give them everything up front. It's why the ones who make her wait, who remain a little unpredictable, stick in her thoughts far longer than the ones who bend over backwards. Because her subconscious wants to solve you, to earn you, to hold on to you before someone else does. That fear of loss is not something she admits out loud, but it drives her behavior more than she will ever confess. Men often ask, should I ignore her? Should I act distant? Number. That's surface level thinking. You don't create fear of loss by pretending you don't care. You create it by living in such a way that she feels she could lose something truly valuable. If your whole life revolves around her, there's nothing to lose. But if your life is full, your vision, your mission, your discipline, your network, your hobbies, she feels it. She feels that you are not replaceable, that without you, her world is dimmer, quieter, less alive. That's where the fear grows, not because you withheld affection, but because your presence is truly irreplaceable. Think about the relationships that haunt women the most. It's not the men who gave them endless validation, it's the men who stood out, the men who, even when they loved her, carried themselves with an energy that said, I am whole without you. That's what makes her check your social media long after you've stopped speaking. That's what makes her compare every new man to you and feel a sting of disappointment. It's not arrogance, it's reality. Women remember the men who carried themselves as if they could walk away at any time and mean it. That memory lingers like a scar, and that's the exact energy you must embody if you want her to fear losing you. A woman's greatest fear in love is not that you will hurt her, it's that you will outgrow her. Think about that for a moment. She can handle arguments. She can handle disagreements. She can even handle distance for a while. But the thought that you are evolving so powerfully, so steadily, that she may not be able to keep up, that shakes her to her core. Men who stay stagnant, who orbit their woman's world as if she's the center of everything, never trigger this fear. Because she knows exactly where you are, she knows exactly what you'll do, and she knows you'll always be there waiting. There's no urgency, there's no reason to hold on tighter. But when she feels you are constantly becoming more disciplined, more ambitious, more mysterious, she realizes that you are not standing still. And if she doesn't match your energy, she risks losing you. That is when her subconscious alarm bells ring. You have to understand, women are deeply tuned into status, growth, and momentum. If you are the same man year after year, she feels safe, but she also feels unchallenged, safe but uninspired. But when you're moving forward, chasing your vision, making progress, she feels a subtle anxiety. Anxiety that another woman might notice, that another woman might appreciate, that your value is rising in the marketplace of life. That's not manipulation. That's biology. That's competition at work. And it pulls her in harder than any words you could ever say, because no woman wants to lose a man whose value keeps increasing. This is where boundaries come into play. Men think boundaries push women away. In reality, they pull women closer. A man who doesn't enforce boundaries shows he values her above himself, and that lowers respect instantly. But a man who calmly enforces boundaries without anger, without drama, communicates one unshakable message: I do not fear losing you. And when she feels that, she flips. Suddenly, she's the one thinking about what she might lose. Suddenly, she's the one recalculating her behavior. Respect comes back. Desire reignites. Because a man who is willing to walk away is the man she never wants to lose. What makes this powerful is that it's not loud, it's quiet. It's not a performance. It's an energy. When you choose your goals over her demands, when you maintain your friendships, when you refuse to compromise your integrity just to keep her happy, she may resist in the moment. She may test, she may push back, but deep down she feels it. And it scares her in the best possible way, because now she knows that keeping you is not automatic. She knows you are rare, and human psychology has always valued rarity above everything else. That fear of losing you becomes the anchor that keeps her invested, engaged, and endlessly drawn back to you. Attraction is not about what you give her. It's about what she feels she could lose. And the truth is, most men spend their entire relationships trying to keep a woman by proving their devotion, by showering her with attention, by sacrificing every piece of themselves until there's nothing left. And what happens? She loses interest. She loses respect, because deep down, she never feared losing you. She always knew you'd stay, no matter what. That is the silent mistake that destroys more relationships than betrayal, more than distance, more than anything else. A woman can forgive almost anything, but she cannot feel desire for a man she does not respect. And respect comes from strength, not sacrifice. So how do you embody this strength? It begins with perspective. You must realize that she is not your source of identity. She is not your anchor. She is not the prize. You are the prize. Not because you say it, but because you live it. When you invest in yourself relentlessly, your fitness, your craft, your purpose, she feels it. When you stay calm in the face of her tests, she feels it. When you enforce your boundaries without apology, she feels it. And each time, a little voice whispers inside her, I could lose him if I'm not careful. That voice is what keeps her invested. That voice is what makes her fight for your attention. That voice is what makes her see you as the man she cannot afford to lose. Never mistake this for cruelty. This is not about withholding love. This is not about playing manipulative games. This is about balance. She must feel both the warmth of your presence and the chill of your absence. She must feel both your affection and your independence. She must feel that you want her, but you do not need her. And when that balance exists, she will fight to keep you. She will pour her energy into you, because in her mind, losing you would feel like losing a part of herself. So let me leave you with this. If right now, the woman in your life knew that tomorrow you could walk away and never look back, how would she treat you today? Would she take you for granted, or would she hold you tighter? Think about that. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop your honest answer in the comments below, because your story might be the exact truth another man needs to hear tonight. And if this message hit you deep, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more, and share it with a friend who's stuck in a situation where he's giving everything and getting nothing back. He needs to hear this, and you might be the one who saves him from losing himself.